There are many ways to add interest to our renders: expression, shape contrast, and many others we might talk about later. But right now we're going to focus on lighting. So what can we tell with lighting? What can we do with lighting in our sculpts? Well, we can actually communicate a lot, quite a lot. And different lighting setups will allow us for different fields and for different ways of communicating. Right now, as you can see, I am communicating something through the lights that are available on my sculpt. Here is what I call a matte cap, and it is a baked-in material that has lighting information at the top and shade information at the bottom and color information. These three allow this lighting setup, which is baked into the material, to communicate to me, the creator, where the shapes are, how they're behaving, and how I may improve them. This is something that's not for presentation specifically, but for working purposes. However, if we want to communicate with our render, we need controlled light sources, and controlled light sources that we put in strategic places in order to communicate a feeling, in order to let people know what the piece is about. So let's see some of the stories we can tell through our lighting setups. Now, you can always take the lazy path, the easy route, for something quick, because there's no shame in it. Sometimes we just gotta display something. And in our shading tab here in Nomad Sculpt, though any 3D software with a render engine has this, we have an environment light here. And as we can see, we can choose different environments to display different lighting conditions. This allows us, the creators, to sort of gauge how your sculpt is going. However, if we want to talk about real lighting made by us, controlled by us, we have to start working on lighting setups. And here I have 3 lighting setups that you might use to present your work. Now, let's turn off environment and show you this lighting setup. Here we have key light, fill light, and backlight. Now, as you can see, it gives a very specific kind of feel. A key light is basically the main light source, where the light is primarily coming from. A fill light softens the shadows, so everything is more clearly readable, and the backlight reminds us that there's a back to the piece we have. It gives us shape. So a 3 light setup is usually the best for portfolio pieces when we want to present something to someone. We want to show them all the possible angles and shapes we have, as well as light and shadow. And it gives a serene mood to the piece. It's just for display to others, just as a matte cap was for personal display in order to see the shapes. The 3-point light setup allows us to show others our shapes, but through a more cinematic perspective. Now here we have a 2 light setup with a key light at the bottom and a fill light at the top. As you can see, this is the main light source, and this just allows us to, again, soften the shadows, and we can make sure that it softens them properly depending on the angle we place the light on. Now, what kind of story are we telling with this lighting? Perhaps that this man is a janitor in a cemetery and it's lighting his own face to scare someone, for example. So it gives us a darker mood. Something about it is terrifying. It's freaky because there are many harsh shadows, and also the light is unnatural. It's coming from a place it doesn't usually come from, which is the bottom of the face. So it gives this eerie feeling. And you see how this lighting setup tells a very different story from the softer, more presentation-like style of the 3 light setup that we showed prior. Or through a 2-point light setup, we can create a feeling of being in a, for example, interrogation room. This man is being questioned about something, and he is the main focus. His eyes, his expression, the way he reacts is framed by the harsher key light at the top and the softer fill light at the bottom. So you can see we can tell a lot with the exact same geometry, but with different light sources and different ways to arrange those light sources. So give lighting a try and see how it changes the mood of your sculpt.